If this video seems like what you're interested in, stick to the end, and happy holidays to you all. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Adiola. So this YouTube tutorial is the drafting and cutting of this stylish asymmetric panel dress. So I have my paper here. So I've ruled out some of the lines. So this is my starting point. Then I'll mark it out properly. Here is my chest line. So to get that, you divide your bust by 6 and you add 1.5 inches. So I have my bust, my under bust, my waist, my hip, my full length. So I'll make use of all the full length. So I'll rule out my vertical lines properly. My chest measurement is 7.5 inches, my bust line is 10.5, my under bust 13.5, my waist 17. So my measurement for the front pattern is 17 and for the back is 16. So the difference is 1 inch. Now I'll go ahead to mark out all the lines. So the upper part here is the beginning of the pattern. So next is my chest line 7.5, my bust 10.5, under bust 13.5, my waist 17, and my hip 24 inches. I'll label my pattern for proper understanding. My shoulder is 13, so half of it is 6.5 inches. Then I'll repeat it on my chest line. So I'm going to mark across this line. I'll come down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope and mark a straight line. Then I'll also mark my standard neckline of 3 by 3 inches. So then I'll use my armhole to connect it to each other and connect it to my slope. The next step is to mark out my bust span measurement of 4 inches. So I'll divide it by 2. So I'll start taking that from my bust line to my dress length of 35 inches. I'll rule out the bust span measurements. Then I'll take it up to my bust point. Here I'll mark my dart, then I'll measure it from my bust to my dress length. I'll divide what I have left on my shoulder by 2. So I have 3.5 inches here. Then I'll take 1.5 inches and connect it to my bust. Then I'll come down by 1 inch from my bust line, and from my under bust, I'll measure 1 inch on both sides. Then for a plus size, you can take 1.5 inches on both sides. Then for my dart intake, here is my 1 inch on the center front and the side front to the dress length. Now I'll take my armhole curve and connect it from my under bust to my bust line. Connect it after coming down by 1 inch from the bust. Then you place your armhole this way to connect to the center front also. So my next measurement is to go up a bit from my chest line. So that is where my asymmetric scallop will start from. So you can go up by 2 inches from your chest line, and if you're not sure, take your tape rule measurement, measure where your opening will start from. So 5 inches is fine for mine, and from the 5 inches point, 4 inches is also fine too. So I'll rule out a straight line, then I'll measure half inch on both sides for the over bust tightening. For a plus size, measure 1.5 inches. For a medium size, 0.75 to 0.5 is okay. Then connect it back to the bust line. Just before I continue, from my armhole line, I came down by 1 inch for the slope. So I'm left with 6.5 inches. Then if I divide it by 2, that will give me 3.25. Then I'll come in by half inch. I will then take my round bust, so which is 36 inches. Then I'll divide it by 4. That will give me 9 inches. I'll use my armhole curve and mark it out and connect it back to my slope. I'll connect the half inch for the over bust tightening now to my bust point. I'll start with my round circumference. So my round on the bust is 29.5. If I divide it by 4, I have 7.3 for that. Then my 1 inch dart on both sides, I'll replace it back, and my 1 inch allowance. Then also on my bust line, I'll add my 1 inch allowance. My waist is 30. If I divide it by 4, I'll have 7.5 inches. Then I'll replace the 2 inches dart, then my 1 inch allowance. Then on my hip, my round hip is 40. If I divide it by 4, I'll mark 10 inches plus the 2 inches allowance and 1 inch. So if you notice the thumbnail, you notice the exaggerated hip. So replace the measurement you have on your hip on your desired dress length. I have a similar video to this. So if you're a petite size, you can use half or 1 inch. For a medium size, 1.5 to 2 inches. Then for a plus size, you can use 2.5 to 3 inches. So 3 inches is the maximum. So I'll take the 1 inch for the exaggerated hip. So whatever I have on my hip, I'll repeat it on my dress length. So I have 15.5 inches. I'll take the 15 inches here and connect all the lines together. For the flare effect, you can add half inch or 1 inch and connect it from your hip. So for the 1 inch, so notice this is for the 1 inch. Then again, if you want your waist snatch, this is optional though. For instance, my waist is 30. So you can subtract 1 inch from your waist round. So I can mark 6.5 inches, then I'll take 2 inches allowance and 1 inch allowance. So it will make the waist thinner, alright? To get my bust line, the difference for the waist in front and the back is 1 inch. The front is 17 inches for the pattern. So I'll take it on my bust line and connect it back to the bust point here. So you can fold it or you can cut through it and blend it back to your allowance. Moving to the asymmetric for the scallop. So from your chest line, you observe the picture, you see the center front scallop is higher than the side front and the allowance side. So start marking out your scallop with a pencil first. Draw it a bit higher from that point. So you connect it and you follow the shape and you connect it back to your darts. So next thing, fold in your dart or cut it open with your scissors. After folding this, continue with the scallop on the side front back to your armhole side. Another way to get this, whatever you have on your hip, your waist, that is to recreate the third panel. So on my hip, after the dart, I have 10 inches here. So you can divide it by 2 or by 3. Then on your waist, you divide it by 2. And on the waist, I have 5.5 here. So I'll mark 2.75 here. And on the hip, I have 5 inches. So mark it to the dress length and the armhole area. Also divide your underbust too. To continue with the scallop, I'll fold in my dart again and draw the third one. So I'll trace it properly with my marker now. So here I'll fold in my dart to get the scallop I earlier drew. So I'll connect it back to the side front. You can always adjust the asymmetric to get your desired scallop. So here I'll adjust my bust line in order to create the top panel. So mark it out to the dress length. So watch carefully the cutting of the pattern. So relabel your pattern again. So here's my center front, my middle, my side front. Then for the joining, ensure to add half inch on the sides. Fold your bust darts or use sellotape tape to hold it in place. So I have my back pattern here. The first line is the zipper allowance of 2 inches. Then after that, I have my chest line, my bust line, my waist. Then remember the waist for the back is 16 inches. The front is 17 inches. So I also have my hip line of 24 inches and my dress length. So the next thing I'm going to take is my shoulder measurement of 6.5 inches. So I'll repeat the 6.5 inches on my chest line. Then I'll measure 1 inch for shoulder slope. Then my neck width is 3 inches and depth 1 inches. Though the neck is not necessary. So I'll use my armhole for the neck. Extend it to the zipper and extend it to the shoulder slope. So I'll divide what I have left here by 2. So this is 6.5. Half of that will give me 3.25. And I'll come in by half inch. Next, I'll move to the circumference. My bust is 9 inches, so I'll start taking it after the zipper, then I'll connect it. So my next measurement is my bust span of 4 inches. I'll take that from my bust line up to my dress length. I'll measure half inch on both sides of my waistline, then I'll connect it to my bust line. Then from my hip length, I'm going to come up by 4 inches. So I have 8 inches here. So I'll just stop at 4 inches and connect it. My waist circumference is 7.5 inches. Then I'll replace my 1 inch that I took for that and my 1 inch allowance. So my hip is 40. I'll take 10 inches, then 1 inch allowance. Also 1 inch allowance for the bust. Then I'll connect all the lines together. I'll mark my 1 inch at my hip for the exaggerated hip. I'll measure what I have on my hip and repeat it on my dress length. So I have 13.5 inches. I also measure 1 inch for the flare and mark it to the hemming. So here's my zipper. So from my chest line, I'm going to come down by 1 inch. So take half inch on 1 inch. So you connect it to the armhole part. Another way you can create your panel. So after you've taken your bust span or your darts or directly on your zipper, so after your zipper, you measure what inches you have. So if I have like 13 inches on my hip, so you can divide it by 3 to get the third panels. I have 4.5, another one, and the last one here. So I'll mark it out. So this is the first panel, the second one, and the third one. So now to take your zipper bulge of half inch from your waistline. So blend it back to the hip and the chest line. So this is my new zipper line. So back to the panel, ensure to create your darts on each panel if you decide to use the second method. So you divide your dart intake by 3 and distribute it to each panel. For example, if it is 2 inches for the dart, you divide it by 3. So you can measure 0.6 from the bust line and stop at the dart on the line after your waist. Then you measure your bust span to the dress length. I'll stick to the first method. So to continue, I'll divide what I have on my hip after the bust span by 2. So I have 9 inches, which is 4.5. Then I'll connect it back to the side back here. For the waist snatch, subtract 1 inch from your waist. Now moving to the back scallop, draw out the scallop with your pencil first. So I'll continue to create the second one and connect it to the armhole points. I'll go ahead and use my marker to properly trace out the asymmetric line. Then I'll connect the first one to meet up with the first dart. So you can always readjust your scallop. So here's the second one and the last scallop. So mark your 4 inches and connect it to the dress length. So here's how the back pattern looks like. I'll go ahead and label my pattern. So here's the center front, the middle front, sorry, the center back, the middle and side back. So here's the zipper side too. So watch, I'm going to cut the pattern out. So add extra paper and connect from your waist to your dress length by adding 1 to 1.5 inches or more for the flare for the panel. Then for a plus size, you can use 2 inches. So afterwards, you add another half inch for joining. So once you join all your panel for the front and the back dress. Though you can sew in your trimmings on it just like you have it on your thumbnail. Then you fix your strip to the neck from your center front so you can tack it or sew it on it. Note, only add 1 to 2 inches for the flare only to the middle and the center front of the front pattern, and also the middle and the side to the side pattern. So the center front and the center back will remain the same. So you can achieve this beautiful dress with a crepe fabric. You can use 2 years to 2.5. For a size 10 to 12, or if plus size, use 3 years.